Hey, second and third graders. Today we are going to be learning about the artist Chris Uphues. He is an artist from Chicago that creates some beautiful, positive street art using lots of different hearts. On those hearts, we see some faces with different expressions. So we're going to continue working with our folding of paper and creating some heart templates. Using those, we're going to trace them onto our background paper and create some awesome designs. So here is what you will need. One piece of blank paper. This can be printer paper, construction paper, whatever you have at home. If you have your sketchbook and you have paper in there, you can rip out one of those blank pieces of paper as well. I'm always going to start by writing my name on the back. And let's see if you can see that. It might be backwards. And then I'm going to write my class code, and you would write yours. Next, I'm going to flip it over and put it off to the side. So next, I have some colored construction paper here. If you have that, that would be great, but it doesn't matter too much. We're going to be using this as our template to create some hearts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it the hot dog way and crease. And then I'm going to create two different hearts. When you're creating a heart, we're going to only draw half of it. When we cut that out, then you will have two of the same shape. I want to make a large heart and one that is smaller. Notice how the size is different of each of these here. See if you can see that on the camera. I've got one that is smaller and one that is larger. When you're drawing your heart shape, the wider you have from the crease to the fold side, the wider your heart is going to be. If it's skinnier, you're going to have a skinny heart. So make sure you fill that paper as far out as you can go. The paper that you want to use for this, again, can be any paper you have at home, but the larger the paper you have, the larger the hearts you will create. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those out, and these are going to become my templates. Ta-da! We've got two different heart shapes. So now we're going to bring that white paper back, and we're going to do some tracing. We're also going to talk about overlapping our shapes. So there we go. We don't want them all to be just next to each other. Some of them are going to go over the top. So thinking about how that can be laid out onto our paper. I'll be using a Sharpie for this. If you have a pencil, I would suggest using that, but Sharpie shows up a little bit better. I'm going to go through and trace. I would suggest doing 3 to 4 of each of your hearts. If you want to make more heart templates than just the 2, you can go for that as well. It'll actually give you more variety of the sizes of your hearts. I think this one is going to overlap, but notice how I'm not going to trace the part that overlaps each other. That will make it look like this one is behind it to the person who is viewing my artwork. And around. Beautiful. I'm going to continue doing that with my smaller heart. So when we look at the artwork of Chris Uphues, I'll have some photos for you in the Google Classroom. And if this is for your other students at Northside and Parkside, your teacher can have them on the Bitmoji Classroom as well. So Chris Uphues uses hearts often in his art, and he gives them those funky faces, but as a viewer, and when you're looking at his art, they give a really positive message. So when you finish this art, think about what kind of faces you're giving it. If it makes you happy, could you give this to someone else as a gift? There's a lot of love and positivity behind this type of art. Okay, I'm going to do just a few more and maybe one more large. Notice how I can also go off the paper, and that is okay as well. just like so, and one more, then we'll be set. Again, I would suggest about 3 to 4 of each of your hearts to be able to fill that paper. The next thing we're going to do is add some faces. Okay, so I have went ahead and filled in all of my hearts with some awesome positive faces. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and color those in. You can use any materials you have at home, but I would suggest before adding color, if you have a black marker or a black crayon, to go over your lines that you created. Remember, I started in marker so you can see it a little bit darker, but once you start in pencil, then adding those details in black really make them pop. So the last thing, like I said, I'm going to do is I'm going to color in those hearts, thinking about where my overlaps are and how all of these hearts come together. All right, second and third graders, here is my final drawing. So notice how I have about 3 or 4 of each of those shaped hearts using those templates. So make sure that you are able to create some heart templates of your own as the very first step. We went ahead and traced them, added those faces like we see the artist Chris Uphues did in his art, and then we filled them in with some color. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Make sure after you are done that you are going over to Artsonia and turning in a photo so I can see your beautiful designs. If you have any questions, let me or your art teacher know, and happy creating. Bye.